Hi, Bruce Johnson, founder of Wired to Grow and the BizScalers Club. And today I want to talk to you about how do you hire fast when you're trying to scale. Now, as a business owner and entrepreneur, as your business is trying to grow fast, there are a lot of challenges, and now you have more customers or clients or members, whatever nomenclature you use, and so you need to build up the capacity to be able to handle all that excess demand. And so there are a number of ways you can do that. You can outsource, that helps. You can use technology, that helps. You can create better systems so they're more effective and efficient. That helps. But at some point, you're probably going to have to hire some more people. The challenge, of course, is that when you're growing fast, you're busy and you don't have a whole lot of time to hire additional people. And normally you need to have a good process to be able to hire good people. And if you don't have a good process, then you're in trouble, because in general, most business owners and entrepreneurs aren't great at hiring great talent. In fact, the national average is about 3 out of 10 are great hires. Now, that's not a great batting average, okay? 3 out of 10 is not good. And if you're fast and you're growing fast and you're trying to hire people quickly, and that number might go from 3 down to 2 or maybe even 1. So the question is, how do you actually increase that so you're hitting at maybe 7 or 8 or 9 of your hires being great hires? Well, the key to doing that is you have to build a virtual bench, Now, if you're not familiar with the concept, it's pretty easy to understand. Think of a sports team. Let's take a baseball team. And let's say they have a pitcher, and the pitcher needs to be pulled out of the game. It's the 6th inning. They got to pull the person out. The manager is not going out and looking throughout the entire league, who should we recruit to become a pitcher to finish the last 3 innings, right? They've already pre-vetted a set of pitchers. Let's say that there are 3 pitchers that might potentially come into this game. They've pre-vetted them and the manager is saying, based on this situation and what's going on here, I think out of these 3, number 2 is the one I want to pull, and they pull that pitcher into the game, right? They have a bench pre-vetted, and they are able to quickly pull that person in, and that's what you want. You want to have a virtual bench, not people that actually work for you, but people virtually who you would be able to call to be able to bring into the game quickly. So if you want to build a virtual bench, how do you do it? 3 really simple, easy steps. Number 1, always be on a talent hunt. Always be on a talent hunt. What that means is that every time you go to a networking meeting, every time you meet somebody, every time you're going out to have dinner, every time you're at a dinner party, every time you go to a conference or seminar, etc., you should always be looking at people and thinking, is this somebody I would like to bring on my team someday? Is this somebody who could become a new CFO for us someday? Is this somebody who could become the marketing manager of our team? Is this somebody that I could bring on as a graphic artist or as a salesperson or as an admin, right? Like, you should be looking at everyone that you encounter through a set of eyes where I'm always on a talent hunt. Is this somebody who potentially could come and work for me and my team and make a big impact? And if that answer is yes, then you want to put them on your virtual bench list, Now, you're not hiring them, they're just in the potential category. So that's step 1, always be on a talent hunt. Step 2 then is you then want to begin to nurture that relationship. One of the mistakes that an awful lot of business owners and entrepreneurs make is they might meet somebody like that, they think, hey, this would be a great hire someday, and then they do nothing with that person. They take the business card, they stick it on their desk someplace, or they put it in some kind of electronic device, and then they forget about it, and then 2 years or 3 years or 5 years later, they go, oh man, I remember meeting somebody at that conference, and where was that? And then they dig through this file, and then finally they find it, and then they call this person who they haven't done anything with for the last 2, 3, 5 or more years. That's just a bad strategy. What you want to do when you have someone in that virtual bench category is you want to nurture that relationship over time. That means that you're going to follow up with emails or phone calls. You're going to send them information. You're going to ask them questions. If you're in their town, you might go out for lunch or for dinner. And you're just building and cultivating that relationship over the course of, in most cases, months, but more probably years, so that when the time comes, you've got somebody that you've already been building a relationship with. And then step 3 then is that you want to pre-vet that person. Now, to vet obviously means that you have a set of categories of things that you're using to evaluate people based on some kind of criteria. Now, in BizScalers and Wired to Grow, we talk about the 5 C's all the time. It's about the person's character, then their competency, then culture, then chemistry, and finally about congruence. So if you have, and you can use whatever you want to pre-vet, if you have a grid that you're evaluating through, so then when you're interacting with this person, you're thinking, is this the kind of person who has the character of someone I'd want on my team or not? Let's say you're at a dinner party and then they start telling some off-color jokes, you're probably going to go, probably not, take them off the virtual bench. But if you observe them in lots of settings and you think this person's got great character, you say, check, move that one off. Move that person onto the bench, keep them on, right? And then you'd be looking at the next one on competency. So if competency is it, what kind of questions can I ask them about their job and how they're doing and, some of their success stories, etc. So you're just intentionally asking questions because you want to find out, does this person have the competency of the person I want on my team? And then culture, you're asking questions and looking at how they interact to see, is this the kind of person who fit with the kind of culture that we have at our company or not? And then you're asking questions about chemistry. How do we get along? Do I get energized from this person? When we're done talking, do I leave thinking, man, I love this person, I can't wait to work with this person, or not? And then finally, you're going to look at the congruence and just try to ask some questions and discern, is this the person who really gets our mission? They really love our vision? Are they the kind of person who can commit themselves to being a part of this team or not? Now, if you've pre-vetted them over the course of 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 8 years, or whatever the time frame is, then all of a sudden when that time comes and you need to hire that person, you've pre-vetted several people, maybe 3 or 5 or more for each position. You don't have to go to recruiter, you don't have to spend the next 3 months or 6 months just trying to find a name. You've already pre-vetted people who you think could make that, and then you take those top 2 or 3 people and then you can speed them through the process because you've been working on this for years. That's the key to being able to hire fast when you're trying to scale. You build your virtual bench. See, the one thing that you should know that I know and every other great CEO knows is that the best people that you can employ are currently employed, right? They're not people looking for a job. They're not people looking to respond to an ad. They're people who are working for somebody, making an impact for them. And your job is to hire them away from them to come onto your team. And you can do that because you've been building this relationship for years, and they've probably been thinking, hey, I would like to work for this person too. And then when you make the ask, they're more inclined to say yes. So you want to hire fast when scaling, become great at building a virtual bench. Make sure you're always on a talent hunt, you're nurturing those relationships with those talented people, and you're pre-vetting them based on whatever criteria you use, so that when the time comes, just like the manager of a baseball team, you can just pick up the phone and call, and they'll be there. Now, does this work? Absolutely. In fact, I've got a friend right now who's in a company going through another seed round and an investing round. And as they're doing this company's scaling, and you know what? Almost all the hires he's been making right now are people that he's been building relationships with for probably a decade or more. He's been doing this, he's been working it, and guess what? The company is scaling fast. It always works this way. So if you want to become great at hiring fast, become great at building a virtual bench. Now, if you found this helpful, I encourage you to pass this along to some other business owners and entrepreneurs. Make sure, if you haven't yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel, that you do so now and check the notifications. And then look forward for some other great content, because I can't wait to help you build a more scalable business. To your accelerated success, Bruce out.